Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review, and next up is the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection Wave 9. This is the mighty Morphin Tango Warrior. So excited. I went into my local Target this morning, as I do every single morning on my way to work, because it's literally on my way to work, so I just leave a little bit earlier, go hit the Target store, and they had Wave 9, so I was very excited. Originally, the ETA on new Power Rangers shipment was going to be on the 12th, but 4 days early, here on the 8th, they got Wave 9 in. So the assortment DPCI is the same one that they use, so there's no street date issues or anything like that. So make sure if you're going to check, you have them scan the peg where the Power Rangers Lightning Collection figures will be. I think most stores probably only one peg now because of everything else in that action figure aisle. So that DPCI is 087168066. 8066. Remember, 087168066. So you can check to see if they received Wave 9. So I'm very excited. So looking here, the artwork looks very cool in the Tango Warrior, but I don't understand the kind of the greenish face and then the beak being yellow when the figure is not like that at all, and I don't remember it looking like that in the show. So not sure where the artwork, where the green and the yellow come from, but it does look pretty cool. It's, you know, typical artwork that we see in the Power Rangers Lightning Collection line. As it wrap around with the image, we get the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers logo there. Here we have the Tango Warrior side artwork. Now, I've seen a few people mention some things in terms of the packaging and how the packaging is different for this wave, and I'm not really sure, because here's the previous wave, and that lightning bolt is there, but I guess on SPD green, that lightning bolt is not there on the side. See the white lightning bolt? That's the only difference that I can tell. I don't think there's any other differences between the packaging design, right? Unless I'm missing something, I don't think anything was different. I think it's all the same. But anyway, back of the package, we get the artwork. I think that's the 3D digital render of the figure itself. So without further ado, let's get this bad boy opened up and take a look, because there are a lot of great things to talk about with this figure. One thing that I didn't mention is this figure is very, very heavy. So he is a lot heavier than the other ones, and he comes with all sorts of accessories. He's got an egg there. He's got these different wing pieces. He's got additional interchangeable hands. He's got this effect piece here, looking at more wing pieces here on the insert. It's crazy the amount of stuff that this guy comes with. So for, you know, a $20 figure, how amazing is that? You know, when we had the Monsters line, that was $30 a figure, that came with maybe about the same accessories, maybe a little bit more, larger accessories and a larger figure. This guy isn't taller, but he's beefy as hell. And look at that. And look at the paint apps on this thing. So look at the wing. Look at that metallic green on there as we get the black, and it goes into the metallic green. It looks amazing. So let's get into some close-up looks after we kind of get this figure all set up. Okay, here is the Tango Warrior figure out of the package, and damn it, this is an awesome, I almost said that word. This is an awesome figure. The paint apps on this thing are really, really nice. The only nitpick gripe that I have is that the face, the hands, and the feet look like a cheap gray plastic. But the rest of the figure is done so well that who gives a shit, right? It's so nice. The flat plastic just shouldn't really take away from the overall effect of the figure and just how awesome it is. I mean, look at the paint apps, the metallic green shading on the legs, on the what would you call that if it's a bird? It's not a mane, right? So the feathers, I guess the additional neck feathers of the Tango Warrior, and then on the wings, and then you get alternate wing pieces, like you get the big wings, and then you can switch it out into smaller wings, interchangeable hands, and then this effect piece. I have no idea what this effect piece actually is. I don't remember much of Season 3. When I had kind of rewatched it, I didn't really get too far into Season 3, but this is even done really nice. It's done in a semi-translucent white or clear-ish plastic, but there's some purple accents and highlighting actually throughout. It's very subtle, but in bright lights you could see it. Like if you turn it, you don't see it, and then right in the bright light you can see the shine on it. So hopefully you guys are seeing that on video, because that's done nicely. So I don't want to just say, oh, it's this white piece of lightning plastic, but man, that pinkish purple in there just comes off looking great. And then we have the egg. The egg is hollow, and there's some holes right there and then right there. And I think it's going to be so the Tango Warrior can actually hold that. So that's really cool. So before we get in for the up close look at it, what I'm going to do now is stop the video, and then I'm going to switch out these wing pieces so you could see how the other wings look. So here we go. And so there are the alternate wing pieces. You can see they are much smaller. So I guess if you're going to do some variations with the Tango Warriors, because he is an army builder, so if you want to have short wing versions, or you want to have long wing versions, or if you wanted to kind of mix them up a little bit, let's see, I mean, they just easily kind of pop in and out of their arms. One thing I would be concerned about is over time, if you keep, you know, removing them and putting them back in, is the plastic going to kind of stretch and warp to the point where they'll get really loose? And I'm afraid that that could happen over time. It's hard to say now, but likely that's something that's going to happen. We saw it with like the Marvel Legends Vulture figure, the Marvel Legends Falcon figure. When they port into the back of the arm like that, chances are that's going to happen, but you know, we'll have to see how that's going to work. But let's zoom in for a closer look at the figure so you can see all the really cool details. Okay, so here's a close-up look at the Tango Warrior, and damn it, look how good it looks. The metallic green shading right there at the top of his head, the goldish beak there into the purple, just bravo Hasbro, so well done. The only thing is, actually it's not so much a problem on the face, because it does look like there's a little bit of shading here on the forehead and then around the eyes, and it looks like the eyes have kind of the digital print as well. So that is good, but again, the flat plastic of the hands just kind of kills me a little bit. I mean, there's nothing to it. They look kind of shiny. No shading on there. Shading would have made a huge difference in my opinion. Still looks good because it's minimal and minor compared to everything else of this figure. We even get the black line right there in the front of the beak. And then get this, if you didn't already know, the beak is articulated. There is a hinge there. So open, close, open, close. How awesome is that? I'm just blown away at everything about this figure. It's just so well done. I mean, look at that metallic green in there. And then we get some weathering patterns, so we get a little bit of this kind of this silverish color to kind of show kind of some wear spots on the armor there. The armor is this purple, not purple, but, well, it is purple, but this rubber piece, so it is pretty soft in there. And you kind of get it throughout here in the front as well. And then all along the knee pad, the shin guards, everything. We don't get it on the back whatsoever, but that is not surprising for Hasbro to not do that type of thing on the back. It's not that big of a deal. It's nice that we get it in the front. The back would have been cool, but it's really not necessary. Now, for the rest of the figure, we're looking at a black plastic, but the wings is where we get that nice green metallic shading as it kind of goes to the tips of the feathers. So that is really cool. So there are the two short wing pieces, and here are the long wing pieces. You can see there, they are separate pieces, but those just look really good. The legs get that metallic green in there as well. The legs don't go perfectly straight either. That's as far as they'll kind of bend, so they kind of look funny when they stand, but I think it kind of really works out well. So looking at how these wing pieces kind of port onto the figure, the arms. So here you can see that large hole where the upper wing piece will go, and then it's shaped perfectly for the right, and then they actually have an R and an L on the pieces so you know which side they go on. And then here on the forearm you can see it's a much larger port, so you can't really mix up, you know, wing pieces on where they're going to go on the upper arm or the lower arm, so there's nothing to really worry about there. This hip piece for the armor is a rubber piece that is kind of glued on there like any belt would be, but damn, he just looks really good. So let's zoom out for his articulation. So before I get to the articulation, in terms of the egg with the hole there and the hole there, I think maybe that's just for the molding of this, so they didn't use a solid piece of plastic. They wanted to go hollow with it, because it looks like it's a translucent purple-ish color with a little bit of metallic shading kind of going over it, and how they did it. It looks pretty good in terms of like the cracks and stuff that are on there and the purple lines, but those holes actually don't do anything for getting the Tango Warrior to hold onto it. So I think it's just so they can make it hollow and not use a big ol' hunk of plastic for it. But anyway, articulation on the Tango Warrior. So I already showed you the articulation and the beak, the hinge. The head is on a ball joint, so it's hard to really move around, but you can move it and kind of swivel it around. It's just difficult with this feather neck piece there to do that. Looking up, so it's on a dumbbell joint, so it can go up that much, so it can't really look straight out, unfortunately, and it has a hard time kind of looking down, so it's limited there. But the rest of this guy is really good. You can get the arm to go up that high. You can kind of do a full rotation, except that shoulder pad is really going to get in the way, so just be aware of that. I'm gonna take the wing pieces off to kind of help this out. There is a butterfly joint as well, so you can see the arm can go back that far and it can come forward a little bit for a little bit of cross body, so that is really cool. There is the upper bicep swivel there. We have a single jointed elbow, so we're used to double elbows on Power Rangers, but we only get a single elbow here, so you get a solid 90-degree bend there. Wrists swivel and they do hinge. Typical Power Rangers Lightning Collection, so we have a diaphragm joint. He can pivot to his left that much. He can pivot to his right that much. He can go back quite a bit there. He can come forward quite a bit as well. And then we also have the ab crunch in there, so you can get him to go back that much. So if you get him in flight poses, you could do stuff like that, because that's kind of how they looked in the show, if I remember correctly. And then the ab crunch and then the diaphragm joint coming forward, you can go that much, but there is a little bit of gappage in there where you can see the purple on his lower back stop. But it's just in the back, so depending on what you're doing, that probably shouldn't be so much of an issue. Legs go out that far apart, which is great. He can kick forward that much. Leg goes back quite a bit as well. You have an upper thigh cut there. You get a double jointed knee, which gives you that much bend there because the back of the leg hits that boot piece. No boot swivel or anything like that. You have a foot, so you get a solid hinge up. You don't get so much hinge going down because the bottom heel is going to hit the shin guard. You get some ankle pivot going on in there and pickles at the bottom of the feet. So again, I think very good articulation. It's typical of what we see with the Lightning Collection, so it doesn't disappoint except for the head, but again, it's going to be limited in what you can do. Flight poses, you're still going to be able to do that without any issue. Okay, so looking at some size comparisons here, we have our Season 1 Putty, our Season 2 Z Putty, and then our Season 3 Tango Warrior. So these are the three army builders from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Will we see other army builders, the other Putty villain-esque type figures? Who knows? You would think Hasbro would want to do that because they know that they would sell a lot of army builders, right? They probably want to pick and choose to the most popular seasons and kind of go from there. But I would love to see Zeo, I don't even remember what they're called, but they have that like that metallic look to them because they're part of the robot. It's been so long. Forgive me, guys. It's been so long since I've seen those, but I would like to see the army builders continue. I love the fact that we've gotten the Tango Warriors because it looks awesome, right? The putty are extremely easy for Hasbro to do. They use the same base body. They just change the belt, change the forearms, things like that. You know, this one even more so because there's like no paint to them except the face is darker, and then they do the little sports bra Z thing. So it was really easy for Hasbro to do that. And then now we have the Tango Warrior, which is a complete opposite because they don't use any base body. It is 100% new sculpt. We get a ton of accessories, 2 different wings, interchangeable hands, a lightning effect because all Lightning Collection must come with lightning effects, I guess. So you can really get your money's worth for this because you don't have to pay a $30 monster deluxe figure for it. You're getting it for $20 and it is absolutely amazing. So it really puts the putty to shame. It's just awesome. You guys let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the army builder situation when it comes to here. Z Putty was only 1 per case, which was stupid. That one was the 2-pack, and then the 2-pack with the Fighting Spirit Green Ranger, and then the Tango Warrior in a regular wave, and he's 2 per case. There's no single pack figure in Wave 9. It's like Hasbro was really thinking that, hey, let's balance out the figures. But I do understand to a point when you have a single packed figure, right? It builds up the hype, it builds up the demand, creates an artificial shortage because it only helps the overall collecting because the perceived shortage of that figure, even though I guess technically there's not as many out there. You know, solid cases always go to the online retailers, so as long as you pre-order, you're good. So there's from that business sense, that makes sense. But 2 per case on the Tango Warrior, which is just awesome. So kudos to Hasbro for doing a great figure and then doing the right thing and packing him 2 per case. Now let's see how he looks next to all the Rangers from Season 3. Okay, so here are all the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers team together with the Tango Warrior. The Tango Warrior, he's about the same height, which is really good, but he's very bulky. Now, you could say that he's probably too bulky, too big, because the Tango Warrior in the show, you know, they're just regular guys in a suit. It wasn't a bulked out suit. It was, you know, they looked fairly thin. It would not have made for a really good looking figure had they done that. But in terms of accuracy, I do want to say, yes, it is in fact inaccurate. But damn it, it just looks so good. It really just sets it apart because it's in scale with the Rangers as opposed to the monsters, which are just too damn big. So let's see how the Tango Warrior looks next to some of those monsters, or well, the only ones we got, Pumpkin Rapper and King Sphinx. So here is the Tango Warrior next to the monsters, so King Sphinx and Pumpkin Rapper. And it is just crazy to think that these figures, this one and this one, were $30 when comparing it with the Tango Warrior. Yes, I get it. There are, what was it, 7-inch scale, 8-inch scale, 9-inch scale? 8-inch. This is an 8-inch scale figure versus the 6-inch. So yeah, I get the size, but look at the, I mean, look at it. Unique sculpt, unique sculpt, unique sculpt. All kinds of accessories, which those ones also came. Well, I guess maybe not so much King Sphinx, but he had the wings and that effect piece. But Pumpkin Rapper came with a bunch of accessories. But $30 compared to the $20 for the Tango Warrior, it's just, I don't understand what's going on with the Power Rangers Lightning Collection line. But keep giving us figures like this for $20. That is amazing. It's finally at the point where Hasbro, they're just releasing the same, all these figures, they're all the same damn body. Like, it should be cheap to do these things, right? They're not doing very many unique sculpts. So when they do it right, because look at that. These were cool too, just again, the scale is a whole separate issue. But just, that looks great. Looks fantastic. Okay, so my final thoughts on the Tango Warrior. The more I look at it, in the show, they looked pretty generic, but for the Power Rangers movie in the 90s, this is kind of exactly how they look. So I think the actually figure design is actually from the movie and not maybe from the series Season 3, which is even better because it could open the doors to the movie figures, maybe, and maybe, just maybe, Ivan Ooze and Ninjetti figures and the movie figures and all of that. Wishful thinking, hopeful thinking. You guys let me know down in the comments below what you think. Do you think it's possible? I don't know. I think this is one of the best Hasbro has done in terms of the Power Rangers Lightning Collection line. Outside, of course, of the Mighty Morphin Rangers team, the Tango Warrior is, I think, a must pick up for anybody. Anybody that is collecting lines, even other lines. You could probably use it with Marvel Legends if you want to do it with other figures and kind of mix some things up and use it as some kind of weird general villain monster type thing. I think you could do that too. This figure is just outstanding. I really like it. You guys let me know in the comments below what you think. If you guys like the video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.